Bill O'Reilly here. Monday, February 22nd, 2021. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. More than 500,000 Americans now dead from COVID. The CDC releases new projections for the vaccine. A top Democrat says vax distribution should be based on racial justice. Texas thawing out from frigid temperatures. Disney labeling Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy offensive. Also ahead, the San Francisco School Board attacks American icons. But why? But first, the U.S. death toll from COVID passing 500,000 over the weekend. At least 28 million Americans have been infected since the outbreak began last February. The majority of fatalities occurring in California, New York, Florida, and Texas. Dr. Anthony Fauci believes we could be wearing face masks until 2022, but I believe he is wrong, as he has been so often in the past. The Centers for Disease Control reporting the plague will likely kill another 100,000 Americans by April. That's a total of 600,000, roughly the entire population of Boston. The virus has caused overall life expectancy in the USA to drop an entire year. Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey facing a backlash after stating the vaccine should be distributed by race. Said Markey, quote, "Racial justice must be our number one priority as we distribute the vaccine. Black and Hispanic residents have borne the brunt of this pandemic," unquote. Warmer weather finally descending on Texas and Oklahoma, the cold snap responsible for at least 70 deaths, some from hypothermia in personal dwellings, if you can believe it. Local officials instructing 14 million residents to boil their own water after pipes burst across the Lone Star State. President Biden will tour the region this week. The Disney Corporation slapping the Muppet Show with an offensive content disclaimer. Executives warning viewers the beloved crew of Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear promote outdated stereotypes and, quote, "the mistreatment of people of other cultures and does not reflect the rich diversity of the human experience." Nevertheless, Disney is selling streaming services to the Muppets. In a moment, San Francisco goes after Lincoln and Washington. Right back. Attention savvy investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Want predictable monthly cash flow? Is a 10% annualized immediate monthly payout good for starters? How about bonuses targeted to 21%? If you want the safety and security of a real estate investment, but without the hassles of being a landlord, you have probably heard of NRIA. NRIA is an industry-leading real estate development firm now in its 15th year, developing strategically located, low-risk, high-demand neighborhoods based on supply-demand imbalance. They are a great fit for safety-oriented investors who want cash flow and diversification into carefully chosen real estate. Learn more about NRIA Real Estate Development Fund at nria.net, or please call 800-800-1414. That's 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. The city of San Francisco, as you may know, is now officially out of control, as its school board has voted to remove the names of American icons like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and others from public schools. Now, the school board resolution says, quote, "Names must be changed for figures who engaged in the subjugation and enslavement of human beings, or who oppress women, inhibiting societal progress, or whose actions led to genocide, or who otherwise significantly diminish the opportunities of those amongst us to the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness," unquote. Well, under that banner, you can knock out pretty much 100% of all the historical figures, not only in America, but in the entire world. All gone. That's not making an excuse for bad behavior in the past. That's putting things into historical perspective. There were different modes of belief thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. Well, in San Francisco, the names to be changed, in addition to Lincoln and Washington and Jefferson, James Monroe, Herbert Hoover, Teddy Roosevelt, Paul Revere, James Garfield, Francis Scott Key, and more. Renaming the schools will cost $10,000 a school. School board president Gabriela Lopez said, quote, "It's an opportunity for our students to learn about the history of our schools' names, including the potential new ones. We are working alongside the rest of the country to dismantle symbols of racism and white supremacy culture," unquote. San Francisco Mayor London Breed, quote, "I understand the significance of the name of a school, and a school's name should instill a feeling of pride in every student that walks through its doors, regardless of their race, religion, or sexual orientation." So this is what Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong did when they seized power. They wiped out the past. The school kids in San Francisco are obviously being indoctrinated into a socialist world where American tradition was evil and all vestiges of white men who had power must be obliterated. It is indeed a brave new world in San Francisco. Now, I've written a book on Abraham Lincoln, Killing Lincoln. If you want to know the truth about the man, read the book, Killing Lincoln. He was assassinated because of what he did for blacks in the USA. George Washington did hold slaves inherited by his wife, Martha, but he forged democracy in a way that has given us all freedom. And one more thing. In my historical research, Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero. But under this definition in San Francisco, you cannot have him, his name, on any school or street. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by writing it. Disagree? I'd like to hear from you. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com, Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. In a moment, something you might not know. This year marks 20 years since America's darkest day, September 11, 2001, and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's frontline heroes ever since. When a first responder or military service member doesn't come home and young children are left behind, Tunnel to Towers pays off the mortgage to lift the financial burden for the family and bring their families some stability. For catastrophically injured vets and first responders, Tunnel to Towers builds mortgage-free smart homes, enabling our most severely injured heroes to live more independent lives. Our nation's heroes, people who are willing to die for us, need your help. So please don't wait. Join Tunnel to Towers on their mission to do good and help those heroes. Please donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 41 years ago today, the United States Olympic hockey team pulled off one of the biggest dramatic upsets in sports history, defeating the Soviet Union in what is now known as the Miracle on Ice. The USSR had previously won 12 straight matchups against the USA between the 1960 and 1980 Olympics, outscoring the Americans 117-26. Even when the U.S. allowed NHL players to participate in the 1976 Canada Cup, we lost to the Russians twice. The Soviet Union won the gold medal in hockey at 5 of the 6 previous Winter Olympics. In contrast, the Americans were a team of young, unknown players from across the country. Gamblers in Las Vegas had the odds of the Russians beating the USA 8-1. The Soviet squad, regarded as the finest in the world, fell to the inexperienced American team 4-3 before a frenzied crowd of 10,000 fans in Lake Placid, New York. The Russians were so upset by the loss, they refused to have the players' names engraved on their silver medals, as is Olympic tradition, the Soviet Union coming in second place. And here's something else you might not know. The miracle on ice was more than just an Olympic upset. To many Americans, it was an ideological victory over communism and terrorism abroad. It was also a unifier for America. Months earlier, revolutionaries in Iran seized dozens of U.S. hostages at the embassy in Tehran. The Soviet Union had just invaded Afghanistan. The country was reeling from its withdrawal in Vietnam. Proud Americans held celebrations across the country honoring the young hockey players and their victory over the Russians. The event also had a lasting impact on national politics. Less than a month after the game, Ronald Reagan won Republican primaries in New Hampshire, Vermont, South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Illinois, and of course went on to win the presidency. Said Mr. Reagan, quote, "I think Americans see in this team a national symbol, that nice guys in a tough world can finish first." Back after this. How bad is your back, knee, or neck pain? Mine was pretty bad. I played 4 sports when I was younger, and it's catching up with me now. I tried a lot of stuff to manage the pain. Ointments, pain relievers, fish oil, nothing worked. So a doctor friend of mine recommended Omega XL, and here's why. The underlying cause of painful, achy joints and muscles is inflammation. The key to knock down inflammation before it causes damage is backed by 35 years of research. And that's what Omega XL does. The doctor also says, quote, "I can't write any prescription that comes close to what Omega XL accomplishes." She was right. So if you're suffering with painful, achy joints and muscles, stop wasting money and switch to Omega XL. Order Omega XL now and get a second bottle free. Visit omegaxl.com/bill, omegaxl.com/bill, or you can call 800-844-4888, 800-844-4888. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.